Good morning. Let's steal some time before the counter goes on. How many sides do you think this block has, right? I asked this question to a group of students, 8th grade in primary school, and they came up amazingly with 4, right? After some discussion, the group agreed on 6. But then all of a sudden one of the children raised their hands and said 7, because this block also has an inside. Then it was a discussion. I said, if it has an inside, it must have an outside, right? So it went up, the number. So the other kid said, if it has an inside, I can go inside and look around me, and it has 6 more sides, right? So the total sum of these blocks up, until today is 14. Let's put this on. I'm an artist, and for some years, I'm highly interested in this question: how can art improve the quality of education? And let's see if this works. There we go. And in order to investigate the way kids learn, I took this beautiful painting by Vincent van Gogh, and I looked at it, but I couldn't find any children, so I had to take this picture. And here you can see many children play. And I was interested in what they are actually doing. And I sent the children away, and I looked what they had. And actually, I found nothing, right? Some sticks, some stones, some little pieces of rope, because children have this amazing ability to create something out of nothing, right? And this reminded me, next picture please, of a building block that I had of my own, right? And there's this one here. It's a very old one, in fact. So I thought, as a kid, I could make everything with this, except cookies, which I think is a shame. But virtually everything, because I used my imagination, right? So I went to the shop in order to get these stones. Next picture, please. And I found this, a piece of art made by grown-ups. And you can actually copy this one by following a very thick piece of information, right? Step by step, and then you can do a thing like this. When I went to these schools in order to work with the children, I saw a group of children, right? And I thought, this is one group of children. But I was mistaken, because we grown-ups had looked at this group and said, well, let's dissect this group, right? We have the very bright children, the little bit less bright children, and the children who are not so bright at all. And if that wasn't enough, we thought we can dissect it even more, right? Because you have the crazy kids who can sit still, you have the kids who have all these terrible diseases like color blindness, dyslexia, etc., etc. So even this group was chopped even up more fine. Then I thought, maybe knowledge, right? Knowledge. Knowledge is this great ball of all stuff that exists around the world who is deeply connected with each other, right? I think, well, if the group is dissected, I can take this ball of knowledge, right? And I can say, let's see if we can that apply. But then again, this knowledge was dissected, right? Everything that used to be together in a very natural way was taken apart. Right? Like music has nothing to do with language or arithmetics, right? We all know that. It needs to be outside this system. When I went into this school, I thought, how can I connect to the educational system? How can I really and deeply connect? So I thought, by using the arts, I take language and arithmetic for what they are. Tools of construction, right? Tools of construction. Things where you can make and investigate it. If I talk about tools, of course I cannot give children real tools. That would be, please next, real tools. That would be crazy, right? If you give kids tools, all terrible things can happen, right? So you will not give tools to children. How about materials? Can you give materials to children? No materials to children, because if you give them these and they start examining the properties of it, right, all kind of things can go wrong, right? So if you give it to them, make sure you have the manual how to do it, right? That's what we grown-ups do. But besides tools and materials, there's another important thing that I use in my work as an artist at schools. I ask the teachers, right? And so what problems do you have? And the teachers, they say, well, we have this problem of counting with numbers, right? And fractions, for instance. Fractions is something very different. I say, and together with my two fellow artists, we designed a maze in which they have to navigate through fractions, which is highly interesting because these kids see possibilities in fractions they never seen before. If the teacher says, Wolf, the children have many problems by learning the clock, I say, okay, but we will not talk about the clock. We will talk about time, right? And we investigate the properties of time with the children. And at the end, the children are motivated to learn the clock. If the metric system is there, how can you ever learn the metric system if you don't know properties of space, right? So we investigate space with these children. What is it? How can we relate to space? And at the end, we want to use the meter, right, to explore space. Finally, there are mysteries left in the universe. And here's something that you can try, what I do, with your kids. Grab some kids, your own, some from the street that you see from a kindergarten, just grab them. Take a glass of water, sit them at your table, and just select from this piece, you select, let's say, here, this one, this is fine. And you select this drop of water, and you hold it up like this. And you say, isn't this magic? How is it possible that this drop of water is clinging to my finger, right? And if you ask this question, you might end up, like I do, and build a boat with these kids, right? The first grade to the 8th grade, we built a boat made of sticky tape and plastic tube, right? So can we float on the water because water is very strong. It can lift you up like this. And when you work like this, you end up with a group of children who are not dissected, right? And let's investigate what teachers say when they experience this way of working with children. They say several things. First of all, they say they are amazed that kids are highly motivated to learn skills, highly motivated to experience knowledge, right? To dive into this, highly motivated. The second thing is they seem to remember things over a very long period of time if they work like this, right? Teachers are amazed. How is it possible? And the third thing, I think that's the most important thing, this group is not a dissected group anymore because every kid in this group had been able to work with his own qualities, with his own set of skills within the group and has produced marvelous works of art, right? Has been in a process where they could talk freely, right? And where they can say, this is how I think. And when you do that, and you connect these children all together, you get something which is very important in the group. Like, they start being a group again. With all the differences, they find something in common. Now, how does this work? It's the final box I have. And I want to tell a short story. A few years ago, I was in kindergarten, right? The little ones. And I had a whole box filled with these golden boxes. And I said, I have for every one of you one of these golden boxes. And we're going to work with it. So I opened the box, and I didn't prepare that, right? And I looked inside it and said, ooh, we cannot use this box because my mirror image is in it. And I laid the box aside. I took the second box, and behold, my mirror image was in this one too. And then I thought, let's stir up a little bit this group, right? I said, I'm going to take the third box, right? And if my mirror image is in that box, I have to take away all the boxes, and I cannot give it to you. And that was the moment within this group when what happened, what we called in Rotterdam's, de pleuris uitbrak. Really, that happened. Because all these children, all of a sudden, were promised a golden box, right? And then these boxes were taken for some argument. I mean, where was the problem, right? But these kids don't have the words to investigate the problem, right? And that's why I think it's very, very interesting. What do they do to solve the problem, right? And then one of the kids jumped up and said, teacher, don't look, right? And the other one said, don't open the box. Finally, one of the children stood up, and she looked at me. She was a little bit older, and she said, are you dumb or what? And I took that as a great compliment. And I think what I hope to show you, that when we grown-ups get involved in educating children, we display our view, right? And we have virtually and not any interest in how they think and how they feel. So I would say, if you get involved in educating children, every now and then, ask a stupid question. And every now and then, try to be as dumb as possible. Thank you very much.